They like to hear what's going on in the United States.
A woman's quest to thank our military, one letter at a time.
My main objective is to let them know they're not forgotten.
Plus, a former foster child.
I cried myself to sleep.
Now giving back to his brethren.
We believe that the church should own this problem.
And get a page from the cookbook of the Trim Healthy Mamas on today's 700 Club.
Well, welcome to the 700 Club. We're so happy to have you with us. Well, will they talk about the issues this time? The top Republican candidates will take the main stage tonight for their latest debate. They're supposed to talk about the problems with the economy and what they would do to fix it.
It's the first debate since the heavily criticized event moderated by CNBC. David Brody brings us the story.
This presidential race has turned into a regular soap opera. Since the last episode just 2 weeks ago, plenty has changed. Co-frontrunner Donald Trump took a turn as SNL host.
The president of Mexico is here to see you.
Oh, that's great. Send him in.
Donald!
Enrique!
I brought you the check for the wall.
Ben Carson has been taking on the media for what he calls unfair treatment of his past during the vetting process. The Good Doctor gave CBN News his take on the circus.
You know, they're sort of like you take a can of Raid and you spray a fly and they fall down, they start spinning on their back. That's the way they are right now. And, you know, they're desperate, clinging to anything. What did he say? Oh, we can get him on that. And of course, nothing's working because none of it has any substance.
Jeb Bush hopes to show that he's the candidate with the substance. He has his new Jeb Can Fix It bus tour.
What's good on you? Live free or die?
Jeb Bush is in the Granite State, a 3-day bus tour.
The main stage will also look less crowded. Mike Huckabee and Chris Christie did not register high enough in the polls, so they'll be on the undercard debate. This despite a Christie video that went viral, showing his talk about the need to treat drug addiction. He plans to bring that subject up tonight, and it's something he discussed with me during this campaign.
No matter what state I go to, David, I meet parents, spouses who come up to me in tears talking about the loved one that they lost to a heroin addiction, cocaine addiction. It is an epidemic in our country.
The last Republican debate was on CNBC, and many critics panned it because it was over the top when it came to a liberal flavor. Now it's on the Fox Business Network, so Republican candidates are hoping they'll have some sort of different treatment there. Matter of fact, the moderators have said that they will keep all of the questions to strictly economic issues. David Brody, CBN News, Washington.
Well, I've wondered, and I'm sure you have too, why would the head of the Republican Party expose his candidates to the withering fire of hostile interrogators? Turns out, a survey just released yesterday, only 7% of the news people in the newsrooms, writers, TV people, only 7% list themselves as Republican. All the rest of them are either independents or Democrats, primarily Democrats, and the independents tend toward being so-called progressives. And do you think that a Republican or a conservative is going to get a fair shake in front of those people? The answer is no. They didn't do this to Obama, what they're doing to Ben Carson. But Ben Carson is coming through it with great grace, and he's winning. And this Politico is blowing up in their face. It just showed that they are just not good news people. They're not good journalists. And what they had to say was wrong. So Carson comes out ahead and picked up a bunch of money in the process. Well, in other news, not only is Russia active in Syria, now there's a new warning from Israel that Vladimir Putin is helping to build up Iran's military. Wendy Griffith has that story from the CBN newsroom.
Pat, Israeli Cabinet Minister Yuval Steinitz warned today of a massive military buildup by Iran with the help of Russia and other countries. He raised Israeli concerns Russia will deliver to Iran the S-300 missile defense system. It's the most sophisticated of its kind in the world. Steinitz also warned of the growing Iranian influence inside Syria.
If Syria will become an extension of Iran, this means, at the end of the day, that we shall see a direct, strong and permanent Iranian naval presence in the Mediterranean, in the ports of Latakia and Tratus. This is dangerous to Israel, to the region, and I believe also to Europe and NATO.
That warning came as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is in the U.S. this week. He's fresh off a meeting with President Obama at the White House, where the two men worked to mend some badly damaged fences after the president's nuclear deal with Iran. They talked about the need to ensure the security of Israel. It's a message Netanyahu is also taking to both conservative and liberal groups. Jennifer Wishon brings us that story from the White House.
With a handshake, President Obama and Prime Minister Netanyahu put their solidarity on display for Israel's enemies. The two men have always held vastly different worldviews, but their relationship has been particularly sour since the president feverishly pushed for a nuclear deal with Iran that the Prime Minister and others across the political spectrum in Israel adamantly opposed.
It's no secret that the Prime Minister and I have had a strong disagreement on this narrow issue. But we don't have a disagreement on the need to making sure that Iran does not get a nuclear weapon, and we don't have a disagreement about the importance of us blunting destabilizing activities that Iran may be taking place. And so we're going to be looking to make sure that we find common ground there.
The president tried to make it clear that he stands with Israel, but the Israeli people may not buy it. On the streets of Israel, many Israelis refer to the president by his middle name, Hussein, a reference to his Muslim heritage. Polling shows just 9% of Israelis believe this White House is pro-Israel. The president condemned recent Palestinian violence against innocent Israeli citizens. And while peace talks are on ice, Netanyahu says he remains committed to a peaceful two-state solution with the Palestinians.
I don't think that anyone should doubt Israel's determination to defend itself against terror and destruction. But neither should anyone doubt Israel's willingness to make peace with any of its neighbors that generally want to achieve peace with it.
International analysts say it's important for Israel's enemies to see the U.S. and Israel stand together.
There is a symbolic component that those enemies need to understand that there isn't any daylight between the United States and Israel as far as our alliance and our friendship. And that message has to be put out there very strongly.
While in Washington, Netanyahu is speaking to both conservative and progressive groups to make the case that the security of Israel isn't a partisan issue.
Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East. It's the most Western-looking country for a lot of miles in that area. And we really need that relationship almost as much as Israel does.
Jennifer Wishon, CBN News, the White House.
Pat, was it just a photo op or were some fences mended?
I think it was a photo op. I think what they're trying to do is to put out some kind of a united front, but you got a feeling that Netanyahu was just cringing and saying, how many months have I got before this guy's out of office? I mean, Obama, describing the Iranian nuclear agreement as a narrow issue, the Congress was against it, our allies were against it, and we have chaos in the Middle East because of the president's policies. Syria is it is a failed state. It's a breeding ground for terror. ISIS is on the move. There seems to be no peace anywhere, and the Palestinian Authority is a joke. It is a joke. And how can Israel make peace with a group like that when it's run by a fellow named Abbas and actually behind them Hamas? And who is going to be the one to be a peace partner? None of them want peace. They want to destroy Israel. So it's ridiculous. And yet they're going through a charade. The thing that Netanyahu was making nice for, he's getting the F-35 airplane, the most modern airplane we've got in our arsenal, and they're also going to give him stealth fighters, which is an incredible thing. And nobody in the Middle East will have airplanes like this. So we are giving them a leg up, and so he's got to make nice to Obama because he doesn't want to cut off the supply of billions and billions and billions of weapons that is going from the United States to Israel, and it'll be on a 10-year basis. It's over a period of years, and that's what the Israelis are counting on. That's what they want, Wendy.
Pat, a federal appeals court has ruled against President Obama's move to protect millions of people living in the U.S. illegally from deportation. The court said the president didn't have the authority to take an executive action giving illegal immigrants the ability to stay and work in the U.S. Texas Governor Greg Abbott praised the decision, saying President Obama should abandon his lawless executive amnesty program and start enforcing the law today. Republicans have criticized the plan since the president announced it last November, and 26 states have challenged the move. Well, investigators in Colorado and New York are working on 2 high school sexting scandals this week. Kids are able to send sexual photos and hide them in their smartphones. Investigators are facing some difficult options. They're trying to avoid multiple felony charges and registering students as lifelong sex offenders. Heather Sells has that story.
At Cannon City High, officials have suspended an unknown number of students for exchanging hundreds of explicit photos of other students, some as young as 8th grade. And in New York, a Long Island school district has suspended dozens of students for sending or receiving sexually explicit videos.
It's impossible to believe that your son could get in trouble because somebody forwarded a video to his phone that he has no control over receiving it.
Authorities in Colorado say teens were swapping nude photos of each other like trading cards. They then hid them in smartphone apps designed to look like calculators.
Hold your fingers on it for 3 seconds, type in the code, and now it's a hidden photo vault where you can see all my pictures I'm hiding from my parents or anyone else.
The current sexting investigations have caught students by surprise. Many in Colorado say sexting was common at Cannon City High and that few realized it's a felony, on par with child pornography.
You don't really think about it until it actually comes up, you know? Like, we're young, we're stupid, we're gonna do things like that.
So much of the time, technology outpaces policy, and I think that's what we're seeing here.
Prosecutors say they'll use common sense in deciding what charges students should face. And Colorado lawmakers are considering legislation to turn sexting charges into mere misdemeanors. One study shows more than half of all teens have been asked to send a nude picture of themselves, and that 1 in 4 teens have done so. Heather Sells, CBN News.
Pat, what do you think?
I'm appalled. Terry, I have never been a young girl, so I do not understand. But would you tell me, from a woman point of view, why would a 15 or 16-year-old girl want to send a naked picture of herself on a cell phone that might be spread all over everywhere? Why would she do that?
Because I don't think they live in the moment. I don't think they think down the road. I don't think they think through the consequences of that. And more than anything, they want to be accepted. And so if nudity, which is available on almost every form of communication or technology today, I think kids see it differently. It used to be so unacceptable and so tacky to do something like that, but now...
girls, I mean, it used to be modesty. They didn't want to show off themselves, and now...
Well, that was a long time ago, my friend. That's been long gone for a while. But, you know, I think the scary message in this to me is if technology really is outpacing, you know, the policy, then where do we go with that?
Well, the problem is that these kids get busted for purveying pornography, and then they've got a 10-year prison sentence and they get listed as a sex offender. I mean, this is terrible, and they don't understand the consequences. So, indeed, Colorado's right. You've just got to make this a misdemeanor and ease up, because these kids don't know what they're doing. I can't understand it. Folks, label me old-fashioned, Wendy.
I don't understand it either, because those pictures stay out there forever. Well, in health news, for the first time, the Food and Drug Administration is recommending a limit on how much sugar Americans should take in each day. The New York Times reports the goal is for Americans to cap their added sugar to no more than 10% of their daily calories. But it may be easier said than done, because although sugar is obviously found in foods like soft drinks, desserts, and candy, there's also a great deal of hidden sugars in other foods that people are not aware of, including not only sugar itself, but also honey and high fructose corn syrup. Pat, sounds like people need to be reading their labels carefully.
Well, you read the labels and it starts off, it says sugar, then it says high fructose corn syrup, then it'll say honey, then it'll say maltodextrose or whatever, then it's got 15 other things on there. But you can, and it also doesn't say how many teaspoons thereof are in there. It just says it's got sugar in it. But the big killer is high fructose corn syrup. And the corn growers out in Iowa and places in the Midwest really had a lobby, and they lobbied the daylights out of the FDA and other federal agencies to get that stuff out there. And it has a biological component that is different from plain sugar, and it causes chemical reactions in people's bodies. But we're getting this epidemic of obesity, and one of the big problems is the ingestion of sugar. But it's everything's got sugar in it, especially we start with little kids, sugar pops and all those cereals they eat.
Yeah. You're going to be excited because we have a feature coming up later on our program, Trim Healthy Mamas. These are two young moms, and they know all about healthy eating.
Well,
you're going to like these.
Maybe they'll tell us the answer, so don't leave. All right, Terry, what's next?
Well, coming up, a man trying to find loving homes for foster kids because he used to be one himself.
Basically, I ran away, and then I cried myself to sleep.
Hear how he turned his pain into a purpose. That's next.
Hey, you're watching the 700 Club. Man, we've got some exciting stuff coming up, including the Slim Mamas. They're going to tell you about things. But there are nearly 400,000 of them in America. And many of them are forced to move from home to home as they face challenge after challenge. Who are these 400,000? They're the children in our foster care system. Atlanta businessman Rick Jackson was once a foster child himself, and he faced those same problems until an anonymous Christmas gift changed his life. As Charlene Aaron shows us, now he's giving back to other kids in need.
1,500 providers.
Rick Jackson knows the business world and the success that can come with it.
God has really blessed me with material success from that standpoint. So, yes, I have been fortunate.
As an entrepreneur, he started a healthcare staffing company, which now serves more than 5 million patients across 1,300 facilities. A big difference from his life growing up.
It was very chaotic, dysfunctional. My mother was an alcoholic. My dad left me when I was 9 months old, and we had 7 stepfathers.
The Fox Theater here in Atlanta is filled with childhood memories for Rick Jackson, a time from when he was abandoned and rejected. But he has since turned the pain of his past into a purpose.
I was between 9 and 11 years old. My mother would drop me off here on Saturday around 12 o'clock to see a double feature by myself, and then come back most times and pick me up at 10 o'clock that night.
At 13, Jackson ran away from home and spent 6 years in foster care. Once placed in a Christian home, he experienced the love he always wanted.
I saw a family hold hands and pray. It gave me a picture of how a functional Christian family works.
Yet after about a year, he ran away again.
I couldn't take the fact that somebody would love me like they did.
He ended up at United Methodist Children's Home, where he recalls spending one holiday alone.
During Christmas, most of them went home to some family member or something like that. Well, I didn't. And I think there were a few other kids on campus that didn't go home. So, You know, I was there first Christmas. Christmas is always a big deal to me, you know, being by myself and so forth. It was a very, very sad time. And then I cried myself to sleep.
The next morning, he received a surprise gift that would change his life.
I had this white envelope that said, from an anonymous donor, and I opened it up, and there was a $100 bill in there. And I was like, wow.
After that, Jackson says life took a different turn. He eventually reunited with his Christian foster family, attended college, and at 21 began his first business. He credits that turnaround to a faith that was born during the most difficult times of his life.
I relied heavily on God. It was out of the pain I was experiencing as a child, and there was nowhere else to look to.
That Christmas envelope put Jackson on a spiritual journey to spread goodness. One example is Faith Bridge Foster Care, which brings together local churches and the Department of Child Services.
We believe that the church should own this problem, that in James 1:27, it talks about the widows and orphans.
Jackson often shares his story of hope with those in foster care.
I know that they wonder how come they're in this situation, how come their mother or father doesn't love them or doesn't show, or dysfunctional, or why can't they get their act together? Why can't they quit drinking? And what that does to a child is just says, I'm unloved and unwanted. And you know, I think the main message is that God does love you, and that your earthly parents may let you down, but your Heavenly Father won't.
He says helping others is his life's purpose.
Through the pain of going through a dysfunctional family, foster care and so forth, it helped me identify just recently my purpose. The reason I was put here on earth was to transform the way kids are in foster care and to transform the foster care system and to focus on solving that problem. I think that was why I was built here.
A purpose he sees playing out every day. Charlene Aaron, CBN News, Atlanta, Georgia.
One person, what one person can do to make a difference. And that's one person. What a wonderful story that we're seeing.
Yeah, taking their pain and making it matter. You know, out of the 400,000 children in foster care in our country, about 150,000 of them are adoptable. Of course, some have special needs, and
why aren't the rest of them adoptable?
Well, their parental rights have not been removed. Okay. There might be family that they have that can't take them, but they aren't willing to let them be adopted either. But, you know, maybe that's the most selfless role you can play, is in the life of a child that isn't going to be permanently yours, but you can have a lifelong investment in them.
How many of those people do you think, those young kids, are permanently damaged emotionally so they can't ever recover from it? What do you think?
Well, I don't have a lot of belief in can't ever recover. I think it's, you know, a matter of how much are we willing to invest ourselves emotionally, physically, financially, you know, just being there for a child. I mean, look at this young guy, or he's not young anymore, but you know, he talked about his trauma, and he's become not just a very successful person in life, but someone who's turned around and is reaching back to make a difference because of where he came from. So don't give up.
All right.
Well, coming up, one person's massive campaign to lift the spirits of our troops.
I'd always heard my husband say that mail call could make or break your day.
Get a peek at the 15,000 letters she sent to members of our military after this.
There are more than 1.3 million members of our armed forces. To Evelyn Brewer, these military men and women are more than just the ones who protect our freedoms. They're also her pen pals. What a ministry.
A little bird told me what a wonderful person you are. I know that because you serve our country with such loyalty. Thank you very much for all your sacrifice to keep America free.
For over a decade, Evelyn Brewer has been writing cards and letters to U.S. military men and women overseas.
I always say thank you for serving our country. God bless you for all your sacrifices you've committed for the freedom of America. anything I can think of to uplift them and encourage them. And of course, I will tell them a little bit about what's going on around home, because it doesn't matter where they're from. They like to hear what's going on in the United States.
She got her first taste of letter writing when she was 7 and stricken with polio. It was 1945, and World War II was in its final months. Evelyn started writing her 2 uncles who were in Europe serving in the U.S. Navy. Postage was 1 cent.
And Mama would say, write to my brothers because I'm so busy. So I loved writing to them. So that's when I fell in love with writing to sailors, and I loved a sailor. I always wanted to marry a sailor. But turned out I married a soldier.
That soldier was Richard Brewer. They had just met when he made her promise to write.
He said to me when he left on Sunday afternoon, here's my address, write to me. I said, it's not etiquette right for a girl to write to a boy first. That was what the etiquette books used to read. I read a lot of them. He said, well, if you want to hear from me, you write to me. So, honey, I sent that letter that night, and we wrote back and forth. And then, of course, the next weekend he came in, he asked me to marry him.
She wrote him faithfully while he was stationed at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, until they married. Over the years, Richard often talked about how much those letters meant to him when he was in the Army.
I'd always heard my husband say that mail call could make or break your day.
Then in 1998, Evelyn read an article in the newspaper about Navy Lieutenant Mike Russo. He was deployed in the Persian Gulf aboard the USS George Washington. The article said he'd like mail.
I said to my husband, you know, I've always wanted to write to somebody I didn't know. Well, he said, well, write that one.
Mike remembers the day he got a letter from a complete stranger.
And I'm reading this letter, I'm like, you know, as bad as I think I've got it, here's a woman who hasn't been able to walk since she was 7, or at least not without the aid of crutches or braces, and now she's in a wheelchair. I'm thinking to myself, what is she thanking me for? Hang on, let me write her back and I'll thank her.
A year later, Evelyn's husband died, and she moved to a nursing home in Norfolk, Virginia. It was then she decided to write letters and cards to U.S. military men and women stationed around the world.
Dear heart, just wanting you to know how much I appreciate your many sacrifices to keep America free. I always say, God bless you on the cards, or we're praying for you, things like that. And someone write back and say, thank you for praying for us.
Of all the people she's written since then, there's one who still holds a special place in her heart, Mike Russo. Their letter exchanges turned into a friendship that's lasted over 17 years, a friendship that brought Mike closer to God.
My relationship with Evelyn, I got to understand a lot of the biblical principles that she demonstrated herself. And so she has been a big part of my transformation and my coming to Christ.
I honestly believe with all my heart that this is a God-given and ordained appointment to meet Mike. I believe with all my heart, so does he.
Today, she's still at it. In fact, in the last 3 years, she sent over 15,000 letters and cards of encouragement to those who are serving our country.
So that is my main objective, is to let them know they're not forgotten. And that is why I work so hard to make as many as I can. It gives my heart satisfaction that I've done something rewarding, and in the name of Jesus. Remember, you are not forgotten. Many prayers in many places are sent up for you. Thanks again for serving our country.
Evelyn Brewer, what a great lady. You know, she's confined to a wheelchair, but you can be confined to a bed, you can be crippled, you can be paralyzed, but you can pray. And in her case, she could write letters. And her spirit is gone out all over the world with that love. And love is so important. And these men are out there and they feel unloved and they know they might not live to see the next day, and just to know somebody loves them, it makes so much difference. Terry?
You know, it's the second message in our program today about somebody taking the pain of their own life and turning it into something
love.
that matters
Into
for someone
love,
else,
yeah.
really.
Okay.
Well, later, they're sisters, singers, and they're starting a new movement toward food freedom. Meet the Trim Healthy Mamas when we return.
Welcome back to the 700 Club. Some good news out of Haiti. Authorities say the 4-year-old foster child of the late U.S. missionary Roberta Edwards is in police custody. That happened after being kidnapped last month. Jonathan was taken by armed gunmen who shot and killed Edwards October 15th. He'd been missing since. A spokesman for Haiti's National Police said, quote, "We have found the child that she was taking care of." Details about the suspects are scarce, but the church that Edwards was affiliated with, Estes Church of Christ, posted on Facebook that 2 men are in custody. Supporters asked for continued prayer for the children Edwards left behind. ISIS has released 37 Syrian Christian hostages, most of them women. Activists with the Assyrian Human Rights Network say ISIS freed the Christians over the weekend. They were among more than 200 Assyrian people abducted by ISIS in February. Negotiations are still underway for the release of another 124 people who are still being held hostage. And you can always get the latest from CBN News by going to our website at cbnnews.com. Pat and Terry will be back with more of the 700 Club right after this.
Keep it simple, keep it sane. That's the advice of the Trim Healthy Mamas, the unlikely duo behind America's fastest growing healthy lifestyle. Take a look.
Former Christian recording artists Pearl Barrett and Serene Allison are sisters, and together they created the Trim Healthy Mama movement. Both of them have large families and love to make trim and healthy meals for their loved ones. In their cookbook, Trim Healthy Mama, Pearl and Serene serve up delicious and trimming recipes for your holiday feast.
The Trim Healthy Mamas, Pearl Barrett and Serene Allison, are here with us now. We welcome you to the 700 Club. Good to have you both here. You all started out as singers, Christian singers. You were touring, you were on the road. How did you go from that to this?
Well, the children started coming. We both have big families.
Coming. Yeah, and coming.
You'll see pictures in a moment.
So we didn't want to raise them on the road. We're actually homebodies. And so we found ourselves at home and with these children who we had to nourish, and yet we were at that age, mid-30s, that we started, it was hard to stay trim, have these babies.
And have energy to run after all those babies. And we're like, we have to find the perfect way to eat so we can, raise these children healthy, and the hubby too.
Yes. Yeah. So here, you're sisters. You're truly sisters. And so you started. Yeah, I do. And so you started making some of these healthy recipes. But I mean, lots of people cook healthy recipes. How did you go from that to the fame that you've acquired through all of this?
Well, what we did was just so much wrong because we tried everything, all the fads. We tried basically every diet, and it was hard. And in the end, we're like, hold on, this is not working. It's time-consuming, expensive. It should be easier. We turned to the Bible. And there it was so plainly, all the food groups were in.
Yeah, in Deuteronomy, it was so poetic, and it talks about, the harvest of the field, the blood of the grape, and just just went through all of them, the fat of the ram. And I was like, wow, all these food groups, they're a gift. And in every single other fad we were on, we removed whole macronutrients, or just whole food groups. And we're like, wow, unless there is an allergy, these are to be celebrated.
Exactly. So we were our own guinea pigs. We started including rather than excluding, but doing it in a way with the science of our bodies, the way our metabolism works.
We actually had a book burning. I mean, I thought, I'm not even gonna take these books to Goodwill because they just derailed me. I was just like, chuck, I'm heaving off the deck, I'm going to the Bible. And I actually got out the concordance and looked up everything, meat, milk, everything.
So we basically wrote our own. I mean, what worked for us, because it started to work. We shared it with family, with friends, and our mamas were like, hold on, guys, this works and it's easy and it's yummy.
And the interesting thing is, it's not just healthy food, because whole foods are wonderful, but they can be fattening too, because I'm a nursing mum, and my milk makes a fat baby, and that's a healthy food. So we kind of had to tweak it and start thinking, well, we'll study the hormones, we'll study the science behind it to see how healthy food can be trimming.
And then you share that in your books, which have become national bestsellers, which is impressive because you really didn't advertise or market any of this. It all happened, was it because of Facebook, or how did that, what started?
We really don't know what happened. We thought we might be able to give away 5 books, and then mamas got their hands on it, and their lives started changing. They were like, I can do this. This is yummy. You mean I don't have to count calories? You mean I don't have to starve? I can eat?
Yeah. Well, let's look at what you've got here, because you've brought some of your recipes to us, and you know, your book just sings on about the praises of them. So let's talk about the not naughty mac and cheese. I'm for that.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want mac and cheese? Creamy, yummy
We're
goodness.
in the South, girl. This is a staple
when mac
here,
and cheese
you know?
becomes trimming for the waistline, is this heaven?
Because mac and cheese usually spikes your blood sugar, all that starch, right?
And it's a family favorite, so now we can serve it to our family and to our children and think, you know.
Think about Thanksgiving, but all we do here differently is use a different noodle. What is that? This is a cognac noodle. You can find it at most grocery stores these days. We call them not naughty noodles.
And they're not some new fandangle thing. It's actually an ancient root from Japan, the cognac root.
And they have no starch. So you can use these with good fats, and like butter. We are not afraid of butter. Throw that in there, would you?
Cheese, the whole thing. Let's stick it in here, shall we?
Oh, you want to go straight in there? Do you want to pour these noodles right in there?
Bam.
Yeah.
Let me put this down.
Bam. Oh,
yeah, Serene's a messy cook. Look at her. If her hands aren't in
I washed my hands. Hey, listen, this is real life, right?
Exactly. Butter, okay.
So you just,
do you want to throw this in there?
Throw this in there? Whoop.
Yeah. Yeah. We're okay.
And I wash my hands.
I think the idea was that we're supposed to mix it perfectly in the bowl.
Just the hands. If it was at home, I'd probably be.
Would you really?
So no, all you've got is butter, cheese, cream cheese, a little salt and pepper, Serene. Throw those in there.
Yeah.
This is going to be a side. Let's say we already have our beautiful Thanksgiving turkey. And but if you don't, you can put chicken in there. It becomes a complete meal. Okay, we get it all stirred up.
I'm going to go get it out too.
Get the real deal.
Stirred it up.
What it looks like on
you
the
will
other
just
side.
love this. It's just so gorgeous.
Can't wait.
You know, you put it in the oven, and then about halfway through, cook it about 20-25 minutes. You'll stir it. Yes, about 350. You'll stir it. You can also do it on the stovetop. And look, it comes out, Serene, put it over here, man.
Over here. Oh, wow. Can I have some now?
It's hot. It's bubbling.
So beautiful.
See that?
What is this? This is
just salt, mineral salt. But, you know, we use like things from the earth. Like instead of refined salt, people think.
I just need a smell.
People think, well, you can't use salt, but yes, you can.
So yum.
If it's just
if it's the right kind of salt.
Exactly. And so we use the good things in life, the things that we all crave.
This is another craving people have, and especially with the holiday coming up. Every family, I think, loves mashed potatoes, but these are
mashed potatoes, like cauliflower.
So you can put your butter and you can put your cream and you can make them all delicious, and there's no guilt because it's the healthy foods paired together in the right way, because we don't have a bunch of starch in there.
But
so we can pair it
people
with
think
that.
cauliflower, yuck. But no, just give it a try. A little bit of belief. It is so yummy. Kids love this
And
stuff.
hubbies too.
And then you've got something over here called apple crumble. This is the typical apple crumble. But
It is the season. You know, and people think, well, I've got to pull out my carbs now because I have to lose weight. But no, you know, the Bible says, refresh me with apples. And so all the food groups are in. This is just your basic, beautiful apple crumble. It doesn't have sugar, but we use natural sweetness. And you know what? We like to eat it for breakfast.
So you talk about this. Well, I'm for that. You talk about this in your book, Gentle Sweet. You talk about several replacements for sugar. What is this?
Well, we're not into artificial sweeteners, and so we use natural stevia, which is a stevia leaf, and a lot of people think that's yucky, you know, but it's all in the way you learn to use it.
Just a little bit. And you know, we like people to use any sweetener that they can find that's stevia based, because we don't want people to, you know, just have to use this. But this doesn't taste like kerosene, so that's a good thing.
Tastes like yummy candy.
It does. It's very gentle. It's just.
That's why we
like
call
a
it gentle
honeysuckle
sweet, because
sweetness.
it's all about your blood sugar. And there is just a rampancy of elevated blood sugars, type 2 diabetes.
And especially with desserts, it's always, you know, rich and full of creamy fats. And then you stick a bunch of sugar in there. Oh, that is the pair that's dangerous. Sugars and fats together.
Are bad. We all know it. And there's this is called a pumpkin, is it?
Pumpkin pie sip, especially at this time of year. You know, you can feel like you're missing out if you don't have the goodness, the taste of the season.
It's it's almost part of the whole tradition.
It's so delicious. We don't mind sharing. Now, if you go to Thanksgiving and you have Aunt Marge's like famous pumpkin pie and it's full of all that sugar, but if you've been sipping decadently there at the table, chatting away with your family on this,
you've lost
you can just have a little slice because you're so satisfied with this. And you can have it hot.
Yeah, hot.
And stick it in a crock pot maybe, so people can ladle it in hot.
Hot or cold. And you know what? It's the taste of the season.
Yes.
Oh,
so
I wish
you feel like you haven't denied yourself.
So you don't have to drive through Starbucks because you got it right here and it's healthy.
Yes.
It's a health tonic and a drink.
I want to say we have just skimmed the surface of the knowledge that's in their book. I want to say the first book came out, it was The Plan, and the second book is the cookbook filled with wonderful recipes, more than what we've been able to show you here, so you need to go get it for yourself. It's the Trim Healthy Mama Plan and the Trim Healthy Mama Cookbook. And don't forget, 350 other recipes available in that second book. Both are available nationwide wherever books are sold, and what a great time to get it as we head into the holidays. Want to enjoy food, but maintain our figures. So
Cheers,
ladies,
girl.
thank
Cheers,
you.
mate. Okay.
And cheers to you. Happy holidays. Thank you, ladies. Nice
Thanks
to have
so
you with
much.
us. Well, still ahead, email time. Cheryl says, why are so many Christians getting tattoos when the Bible tells us not to? Well, we have another round of Bring It On. That's next, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
To listen to our top songs of the week, go to CBN Radio at cbn.com.
Education, said Nelson Mandela, is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And thanks to CBN, children at a local school got some great tools to help them along that journey.
Resilience. That's our essential word for today.
Here at Park Place School, the students in Mrs. McDonald's second grade class are getting some things they never had in their inner city schools: respect and a safe place to learn.
Not giving up, not quitting, resilience.
Located in Norfolk, Virginia, Park Place is a nonprofit school that works with at-risk kids who have fallen through the cracks. Dr. John Hatcher is the school's principal.
I haven't met a parent ever who didn't want better for their child. Every parent wants better for their child. The difference with many parents that we service, they don't know how to do better.
They also teach the Bible and work to instill biblical values.
And if we can not just touch the hearts of the children, but the hearts of the parents, we can begin to change lives and families in the community.
As with any school program, resources are vital to success, especially computers. But Park Place operates on such a tight budget, all they have are old, unreliable PCs. Replacing them has never been an option. When CBN heard about the school and their problems, we wanted to invest in the future of these children. So on one of the first days of school this year, the students gathered around Dr. Hatcher to hear some great news.
Good morning. Good morning, Dr. Hatcher. We have some exciting news today. Our friends at CBN blessed us today, and they've purchased Chromebooks for every student at Park Place School.
Now every student has a laptop to use for school. CBN also gave the school the entire Superbook collection, including the Spanish version, to go hand in hand with their Spanish curriculum.
It's humbling first, to receive that type of help and support, and we very much appreciate it. But to give our students an opportunity to engage in relevant instruction, we can bring the world into Park Place through the use of this educational tool. And so it's a wonderful opportunity to broaden the learning experience for the students of Park Place School.
Oh, that's great. I think Nelson Mandela was truly onto something. Education makes a huge difference, and it's an open door for many and a deal breaker for those who don't have it. So CBN is out to provide education for many, many children, and that's being done here at home as well as around the world. It happens because people like you care enough to make a difference in the lives of folks. We want to invite you today to join the 700 Club. If you haven't done it, today's a great day to do it. All you have to do is call our toll-free number, 1-800-730-3776. 877-590-700. Just tell them you want to join the 700 Club. It's 65 cents a day, and that works out to $20 a month. And you'll be joining with thousands of people who are out to touch the world. And we want to send you, as our way of saying thank you, the transforming word, verses to overcome fear and experience peace. And who in our world today doesn't need this? I listen to it in my car on my way into work every morning. We want to bless you with it, and you'll have the privilege of knowing that you are touching and changing lives. So call right now. Okay, we got time for some Bring It On.
Let's do some questions. All right,
okay.
Here we go.
This first one is from Shirley, who says Leviticus 19:28 in the Amplified Bible says not to have tattoos. Pat, why are so many Christians getting them, especially those who are in the ministry? It seems like we're trying our best to be in the world regardless of what God's word says. Aren't they sending the wrong message to our youth?
There's no question about it. Look, I'm not going to take off on tattoos today because there's so many other things more important, but we're not under the Old Testament. Leviticus does not apply to Christians, so I just say that going in, but it's a standard, and God said it's an abomination to cut yourself. That's the way the heathen did. The heathens marked their bodies, cut their bodies, and did all kinds of strange things with their bodies, and that was an abomination to the Lord. We are definitely going against God's standard. Your body's a temple of the Holy Spirit, and you shouldn't deface it. And somebody says they're a Christian, they've got all this stuff. I mean, they look awful, by the way. They're improving themselves. They're destroying what God did. Okay.
This is Deborah, who says, so yesterday I was looking through my daughter's laptop. Her memes folder was usually innocent, but I ended up finding sexual and satanic images. I'm not sure what to do. I would appreciate help with this issue.
Well, the help is very simple. You've got to talk to your daughter. You've got to explain what she's dealing with. And maybe she thinks these things are innocent, or maybe she's getting sucked into some kind of occultist situation. I don't know. I don't know your daughter. I don't know how old she is. Don't know what school she's in. I don't know enough to tell you. But you ask for help, and the greatest help a parent can give a child is to sit down and say, darling, I love you. Let me tell you, I love you a lot. You're my precious child. Now, let me tell you, there are people who want to destroy you, and I want you not to do that. All right.
Okay. This is Francis, who says someone was on television admitting to be a, quote, gay Christian, saying they believe in Jesus and the Bible. What does the person mean? How is it possible for this person to believe in the Bible when the Bible is clear about same-sex marriage and the definition of marriage? Is this person misguided and a hypocrite?
Oh, they've been gay churches for many years. They have communion, they do all kinds of things, and they have gay pastors and so forth. And they'll tell you that they love Jesus and all this. The truth is, if you read Romans, the last stage of Gentile world apostasy has to do with rampant homosexuality. Read what the Apostle Paul said, wherefore God gave them up to a reprobate mind, whereas men began to leave off the use of the women and to lust after one another, where women gave the use of the man and began to lust after each other. Wherefore God gave them up. I mean, that's what it is. So you say, you've got a church? Sure. It's a shame, but that's what the Bible says, all right?
This is a viewer who says, I recently made a covenant with God that I wouldn't ever watch porn again, only to last but a week. I even wrote it down in my Bible and broke it. I feel horrible, and I want to know if God will forgive me. Please help.
This sounds very much like a question we got about 5 or 6 weeks ago about pornography. Let me just lay it out real simple. The pornographers are lustful, nasty people whose only desire is to make money by the exploitation of human weakness. They want to make money on you, and they want to exploit all of your fantasies. Now, God made us male and female. He made us as sexual beings. He gave us drives so that we would want to procreate and we want to have sexual relations with members of the other sex. I mean, that's perfectly normal. But he says, now I want you to do it within the confines of marriage because I'm concerned about bringing up godly offspring. All right. Now, pornography, you've got women who've been surgically altered. You've got situations that are dramatized by the use of camera shots. You've got photoshopping and all the other stuff that goes on. And you have situations that are unnatural. And to watch that gets you in a frame of mind where you're far, far away from the Lord. And it's just that thing, you know, when the Bible says better to get married than to burn with lust. And I think, you know, you have tendencies, will God forgive it? Absolutely. But it's an addiction like anything else, and you've got to ask for help and get free from it. We leave you with today's Power Minute from James. And here's what he says: the effective, fervent prayer of a righteous man avails much. Well, thanks for being with us. For Terry and all of us, this is Pat Robertson, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.